Hello, dear soul. My name is Kate Harmony, and welcome to the Lightbearer's Library. In today's journal entry, I want to talk about what's on my heart today. I'm feeling like I have this big vision for the future and a goal, but I'm feeling quite paralyzed by doubt, self-doubt, and my ability to kind of get to that goal. And so I'm feeling this sense of despair about myself, and also it doesn't even necessarily take a big goal that we're reaching towards. Just the state of the world can sometimes just get us into a state of despair, and it can paralyze us into inaction. And so I reminded me of this quote by Alfred Lord Tennyson. He said, "I must lose myself in action, lest I wither in despair." And I absolutely love this because it reminds us, when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling paralyzed by self-doubt, when we're feeling just frozen, the cure for that despair is to just take action. So it's the action is not necessarily, and this is what was helpful about that quote, is the action is not about making progress on the goal. That's kind of a byproduct of the action, but the action is actually a spiritual necessity for our soul, for our being to grow. It's a life preserver, right? like to think about that. So it's not about taking massive action and making massive changes in our life and, big decisions. It's all about committing to the smallest action that we can. It's sort of like the non-negotiable step. And that's what I'm calling the 1% rule. It's like 1%. It's a 1% action that we take and we commit to every day that will help us to break free of that despair. And so when we do this every day and we take a 1% action, it's about building self-trust, right? And proving to ourselves that we're reliable, proving to ourselves that we can take action, that we can get closer to our goal, but it's not necessarily about the goal, right? It's about not letting the voice of despair that says, "Oh, I can't," and "Oh, the world is falling to pieces," and and then we just kind of get frozen and stuck in inaction and fear and panic. Whatever it is, the despair just kind of like overwhelms us. So it's not letting that voice convince us of that. And that's what the 1% rule is of action. And so by taking 1% action and proving to ourselves that we can do that, we then start to change our identity. And I talked about this in a previous video about changing our identity. It's that we stop being the person who, wants to get to that far off goal of, say, reading a book, and we start being the person who reads, 1 page a day or 2 pages a day. And, it's like, that's the small action. We stop being the person who wants to write a book, and we start being the person that writes a page a day or a paragraph a day, whatever the smallest, the 1% is. And it's like, that's the cure for despair. So for me, with building Lightbearer's Library, it's about showing up every day to make a video. That's kind of my goal. There are some days that's just not really possible with, the schedule and things. But if I'm trying to get out of it because I'm not feeling good, or I'm like today, I'm just feeling so like there's just so many emotions in me, and I just feel like, what's the point or whatever. And it's like, nope, I committed to this and I'm going to do it. And it's been really wonderful over the last 3 months. Like, I've really kind of broken that despair. So I know that this works by just taking action every day. It does help break that despair. Now, that despair might come in waves and come and go, but the cure is to continue every day to do that 1% action. And so the despair is just starts thriving in that inaction. If I'm feeling despair today and I don't take the 1% action that I committed to, then tomorrow I will feel even more despair. It will just kind of spiral downwards. And so taking that 1% action, that we take no matter what, no matter how small it is, right? 1%, whatever that might look like for you. That's our little light in the darkness, right? We hold that 1% action that we're going to take, and we hold it out in the darkness, and we say, I'm gonna thrive. I'm going to, just break that spell of despair. So that's our cure. So I would challenge us, this is the Lightbearer's challenge for today, is to choose the 1%, the 1% action that you're going to take, that you're going to lose yourself in, right? In Alfred Lord Tennyson, he talks about losing himself in action. So what is that 1% action that you're going to take consistently, and you're going to commit to it, and so that we can stop withering in despair? What is it? I'd love for you to comment down below in the comments. Love to hear from you and cheer you on in that. And if you find yourself feeling the weight of that big goal, that big dream, that big purpose, then watch my video on what's it called? I want to give you it's called Seeking Purpose is Exhausting, and Do This Instead. So watch that next, and it will help. I'm wishing you many, many blessings, and may this cure your despair. Signing off for today. XOXO, Kate.